I made my first film when I was 15. I wrote it.
Yeah.
And then I did another when I was 16. I called it Subject 16. Mm-hmm. A little on the nose because that was
you were 16.
I was 16, right? I was like, this is gonna be such a cool Easter egg because like I was 16.
Yeah.
When I made it.
Yeah, but I mean, at least it's not like Fast and Furious, like 10, and they're in the moon or whatever the fuck they have going on right now. So
yeah,
that's on the nose.
yeah, it's just so true. Yeah, so I made another film called Subject 16. It's a sci-fi. I wrote it and produced it and starred in it, so that was really fun.
Yeah, that's a lot. So
Yeah.
you've just always been business minded.
Absolutely.
Interesting. Your whole family seems very business minded.
For sure.
Very like strong female presence.
Yeah, very much so. Very much. We're very independent, very much like I'm going to do it myself, and which can be an issue at times. You know, sometimes I need to ask for help and I don't. I take on too much, which is I think one of my biggest flaws is like I want to do everything myself because I want the control. Mm-hmm. I am a bit of a control freak, and I think that's why I am a good director is because
for sure.
I like to control things.
Yeah. No, absolutely.
Especially being a female director with like a crew of all men. I think you really have to be like trust yourself. You have to be comfortable in your own skin. You have to know how to command a room.
I'll tell you what. What makes me really sad. I'm thinking things have changed a little bit with the fact that mental health is really even common importance of everybody, especially since pandemic and stuff. I think it's really normalized to even just bring it up, broach the topic of it. But women who cry on set, if they're in positions of power, are immediately like discounted as authority figures. And I remember some of my girlfriends that did go to AFI and, did cry on set. Like that was the hot goss was like, oh, so-and-so, they like cried on set.
Yeah.
And it is a leadership role that, is really genderless if you think about it that way. If you're thinking about it like, I'm here to lead the people to get this job done.
Yeah.
And emotion kind of takes a back seat to that.
Right.
Although it is the through line of like what you're trying to do, right? Like you want to make an environment that's safe for people and so that they can do their best work. And I'm curious, like, did you feel like you were able to project that even in the Zoom experience of like directing your actors and stuff?
Yeah. Yeah. No, it was an interesting experience for me because I was the youngest person on the entire project. So being the director and trying to, hoping that everyone's going to take you seriously and listen to what you have to say, even though I'm like 7 or 8 years younger than some of these cast members. I was worried that I wasn't going to be able to handle it. I was, but they were such troopers and they really did listen and take in what I had to say. And I do feel like I was able to kind of get everyone's attention, get everyone's respect, and command not the room, because we were all in different rooms, but
the space,
the
meeting space.
Yeah.
That's really cool.
Yeah.
So what's from the future for you? Like, what is it that you are trying to manifest the most? That feels the most right for you. If you could literally, like, if you could be like, you know what, in 5 years, this is where I want to be.
Yeah.
Like, I'm really curious. All encompassing. Do you want kids? Do you want to, or is that farthest thing from your mind?
Yeah. Wow. I have my life pretty planned out, actually.
I feel like I knew this.
I think that's just the energy that I give
wish
off.
we would have been friends when I was in my 20s because I feel like I needed you bad.
Oh my God, that's such a great compliment.
All right.
Thank you. Yeah, no, I definitely, obviously directing and writing is the first thing on my mind.
I love that.
But for now, I actually want to go to school to be an elementary school teacher.
Wow.
I know that's kind of random, but
that's awesome.
But I really love working with kids. It's a huge passion of mine. Ever since I was like in 6th grade, I was tutoring other kids and I was in a mentorship program and I ran a summer kids camp with my 2 best friends, and it's just like very much in me. I don't know if I feel like I'm a little bit motherly and I like can definitely pull that out of me. And I do eventually, I really do want kids. That's definitely on my wish list of things that I want to do. But first I want to be an elementary school teacher. And while I'm working at a school and working with kids, I also thought about being a set teacher.
Actually, that would be amazing.
Yeah.
Like, because I have a coalition for child performers, and it would be fantastic to have you sort of join in on any of that. So I really would love to have you as part of that.
That would be amazing.
I'm just luring everyone in, but for good reasons. And I think like when you're looking at a coalition, it's more of an idea that like everyone has one place that they can meet up in a very neutral and safe environment. And so for right now, it's just my little website, and it's got sort of a pop-up that you can type your email in, and then I just have a database, and then eventually it's going to be, folks like you that I know are interested. And then right now I meet like monthly with people, and we just talk about the infrastructures and stuff that needs to happen. People who listen to the podcast know that I talk about this all the fucking time. But at the same time, it's like, I love kids too. I fucking love kids. And then becoming a mom makes you love them even more when you already, I didn't, growing up on sets, like I didn't actually get a chance to babysit.
Right.
I was the youngest too.
Yeah.
Is Dallas younger than you, or are you the youngest?
I'm the youngest.
So it's like I'm the youngest. Like I was always playing the older sister too, weirdly enough. And like I don't know why I was that archetype of strong female character.
Yeah.
Right? And so I never really had any interest in having kids and whatnot. So I did end up having kids a little bit later, but I'm also very grateful that I had that choice, that I met my partner, and that he's a very good co-parent with me. And that it's actually made us so much stronger to have children together.
That's amazing.
Yeah, it's
That's
really
beautiful.
tethered us together.
Yeah.
And then living in Texas has really rooted us into a place where we feel very neutral, because I personally feel like being here is a bit triggering for me.
Yeah.
Every time I fly in to do, the podcast and stuff, I'm trying to keep myself in the present moment, and like these interviews really anchor me to like a human experience, and it's a really beautiful like healing space.
Yeah.
And I hope that you can have that for you too. And that would be amazing to have someone like you as a set teacher.
Yeah,
truly.
No, I think one of the reasons that I am very protective of children is because I had quite a rough childhood, and so I think I'm kind of like trying to heal my inner child by being a good role model for other kids. And I think my set teacher on Desperate Housewives, her name was Miss Sandy, and she was like a family member to me. I mean, she really I
like that.
Not only, I think as a set teacher, it's very important not to just teach, but you also have to be an advocate for the children on set, and it's very important to watch out for them and to, make sure that everything's okay, make sure they're being treated well, and to stand up for them when it's necessary. I did a scene on Desperate where we adopted a cat, and I think it was like one of the intro scenes, and I was riding down the street with the cat in the basket, and they put a harness.
And
on
you were
the cat.
how old again?
Oh, I want to say 8 or 9.
Yeah.
And they put the cat in the basket and put a harness on it so it wouldn't jump out. In retrospect, that doesn't even make sense. Like, it obviously didn't work because the cat ended up jumping out of the basket because it was scared.
But it was on its harness.
But it was in the harness, so it was like tangled up in the harness, dangling out of the basket. Yeah. Disturbing to watch as a child.
Yeah, because my kid loves cats.
I love animals, and I always have. And so the animal wrangler came over and tried to put the cat back in the basket, and the cat ended up slicing his finger so bad. I mean, there was blood everywhere.
Oh, that's very traumatizing.
And I looked at his hand, and like I saw like the muscle in his hand, like it was so deep I could see into his finger. Very traumatizing, very upsetting.
And also you felt like that was a part you did that.
Right. I was like, oh my God, I did something wrong, or like I didn't ride the bike. I scared the cat because I wasn't good at riding the bike. It was terrifying. So we ended up, we had to take a break. They had to convince him to go to the hospital. And I remember they came into, I was sitting in my little chair, and they came in and they were like, okay, we're going to try it again. And my set teacher said, absolutely not. Like, you do not realize that you you guys just traumatized this child. I mean, she was furious. She was like, this was traumatizing for her to watch. You either use a fake cat or use the take that you've got. I'm not letting her experience that. We're not doing that.
That's so good to hear.
And I was so grateful for that. I will always remember that moment that she that's an example of when you really need to be an advocate for the children on set and not just, teach them multiplication. I believe we ended up using a fake cat after
and nobody
that.
knew the difference.
And no one knew I was like, why didn't we do this the first time?
Exactly, because it's an adult working environment, and so they're not gearing it towards you. It's not for you. It's not. No one really truly cares about the child's experience. So
thanks so much for checking out this clip for the Vulnerable Podcast. For the full episode, go ahead and check out my YouTube channel. That link is in the description. Thanks again.